makes it look so casual, and it's clear he's pleased with that.
I was very proud and privileged to not only win it, but to represent my country as it was then and be the first to actually win it for Great Britain.
Britain's favourite strength athletes emerged victorious from one of the strongest fields assembled. Despite the absence of the defending champion, few could argue with the true international nature of the competition or the quality of the field. But did the absence of Kazmaier devalue the achievement?
42.6.
It could have been a better field, but there again the disciplines were just as hard as anywhere else.
And he's done it!
There were some real powerful athletes from the world of powerlifting and everything, like world champions, world record holders. So I don't think it was belittled in any way, it's just another field of athletes, another field of strongmen.
Jeff Capes became a very formidable strongman, literally overnight, who could adapt to every event, had really hard and strong work ethics, and wasn't afraid of anybody, and he got into the zone and was just awesome to compete against.
And that hurt.
Kazmaier and Capes formed two parts of a triumvirate that developed the world's strongest man from TV curiosity into a worldwide phenomenon. But the third member of this group was arguably the most charismatic strongman of them all.
Well, he was 6 foot odd, full of muscle, blonde hair, Icelandic, it was a female magnet,
He was like a roaring lion. His breath wasn't as bad as a lion. His teeth weren't as big, but it was amazing the things he could do when he put his hands on it.
His catchphrase, "I am a Viking," and a complete nutter.
What is your name in Icelandic? Jón Páll Sigmarsson.
Sigmarsson, or the Viking as he was generally known, won friends and admirers in their thousands. The 6'4" blonde Adonis won the hearts of women with his good looks and quiet charm, and the respect of men with his strength and good humour. As a regular on the Highland Games circuit in the 1980s, he and his friend and training partner, Hjalti Arnason, cemented the notion that Icelanders were men of iron. As a child, Sigmarsson immersed himself in the sagas, the books that told the story of Iceland's early history. This interest gave him the pride and determination to succeed. Long summers spent working on the land enhanced his strong genetic makeup and provided him with the physical tools to complement this mental strength.
He went to training, whatever happened, even if it was a big snowstorm, whatever happened, he always showed up in the gym in the end of the day.
He would lift me and my two sisters over his head and shout, "I'm the strongest in the world." He would run around screaming, and sometimes he would grab Mom, lift her up and dance with her. That was him to a T. Always happy, always up to something, and always showing off a little bit.
That desire to entertain thrilled the crowd in Christchurch. But Sigmarsson didn't just talk the talk. The newcomer muscled his way to a runner-up spot on his debut.
Look at this! How about that? This is going to be a very fast time. 1 minute, 31.7 seconds. Do you get the feeling he's moderately pleased with that performance?
He had to steal the spotlight all the time somehow. That seems to work for him because he took the confidence of the other competitors away. It was most annoying for Kazmaier and Capes.
With this rivalry between Jón Páll and myself, it was really all the Europeans against Kaz.
Let's put it another way. If I've got no chance of winning, and Simon Wolfser or Jón Páll Sigmarsson has, then we're going to work as a team for the last two events, so one of us wins.
Come on, it would give you an unholy delight to beat the Yanks, wouldn't it?
It would give me great delight to beat the Yanks.
So Kazmaier had a point. The competition was now becoming a European affair. Gone were the days when 8 of the 10 contestants were American with a token European or two. More significantly, the competition continued without the man who had claimed a hat-trick of titles. After a disagreement with the competition organisers following his third victory in 1982, Kazmaier was excluded for the next 5 years.
In looking back, and at the time, it was a bit disappointing that I wasn't invited to at least try for a fourth. I went to the mailbox. There was no letter of invitation. I waited by the phone. I cried at night. No, not really. But it just wasn't meant to be.
Even without Kaz, this was a golden era for World's Strongest Man. At times, Capes and Sigmarsson seemed to be running their own personal contest as they shared the title for the next 4 years. But there were also impressive cameo roles played by other immensely powerful men, most notably Ab Volders and Cees de Vroeg of the Netherlands.
A great achievement by the Dutchman.
Wait for the go, both of you.
There was great entertainment as well as amazing displays of strength as Sigmarsson and Capes went head to head.
It seems good for Jeff. Just look at that power, and Jeff's hurt. He's not there! Yes! Would you believe it?
I have a very big problem over there. Jeff Capes.
Stop showing your biceps.
Will Jeff Capes be in this contest next year?
I don't know. He's afraid. Listen to him. Yes and no.
Capes did return for a final titanic struggle a year later in Nice. The champion showed he still had what it takes, but the years of competition were taking their toll.
Jeff's got him.
It was Sigmarsson who dominated the contest and regained his crown.
And he's beaten Capes by a full 3 seconds.
Honours were now even. Both men held 2 titles, but the Icelander was still only 26 and had his best years ahead of him. Capes, 11 years older, was ravaged by shoulder injuries. The Icelander had Bill Kazmaier's record in his sights. There are many characters in the story of World's Strongest Man. Most act out their parts in front of the cameras, but many have important roles behind the scenes. As a marshal, assistant referee and driver for the last 19 years, Jimmy Pollock is one of the latter. He is also one of the Vikings' biggest fans.
Now Jim Pollock screaming at the top of his
The man
voice.
from East Kilbride has a real understanding of the competition and the techniques required to succeed. Although his role as Ab Volders' coach in 1989 nearly resulted in a very painful injury.
Acknowledges he has it. Oh, look at the... Jim Pollock, an impromptu Highland fling there. That must have hurt.
His distinctive kilt and fiery temper are also well known on the Highland Games circuit. And it was while Jón Páll Sigmarsson competed in this ancient sport that he and Jimmy became friends.
He would phone me up in the morning and say, now we go to the pub. And he liked the pub, the Bonnie Prince Charlie it was called. He loved the manager's wife was the cook there, and she used to make lovely homemade soup. And Jón Páll used to get the big baking bowl full of homemade soup. He liked that place, and they liked him.
There was no competition in 1987, so hostilities resumed a year later in Budapest, Hungary. A rematch between Capes and Sigmarsson was off the menu. The Englishman had retired after the brutal battle in Nice 2 years earlier. However, there was an even more mouth-watering matchup in prospect. The Kaz was back, past his best possibly, but at last there would be a matchup between the 2 great strongmen of the age. In the build-up to the contest, tension was high as both camps traded insults and trash talk.
I feel like he's what I'd call a paper champion.
I won 8 events out of 10, so he can eat his paper.
Kazmaier was cast as the raging wild man.
You made a big mistake, Webster. A real big one.
Sigmarsson as the entertainer. It was fair to say that neither man was on the other's Christmas card list.
I doubted that he could win that time, but somehow it happened. It was like the angel was helping out or something.
The 2 heavyweights continued to trade physical achievements and psychological barbs. Sigmarsson upped the ante in a log lift.
Kazmaier was not too happy. Kazmaier